Hey everybody, welcome back. It's been 2 weeks. Can you believe that? I've been gone 2 weeks. Welcome back here to A Place to Heal. My name is Marie, and I know that there's some of you that follow me that are looking behind me going, finally, the woman is doing the video, because you already know what I'm up to. So before I get started, I just want to say, I took 2 weeks off because I had a few things that I needed to take care of, but I also had 2 milestone anniversaries. One of those anniversaries was my 2-year here on YouTube. I remember when I first got on YouTube, I was like, these people have been on YouTube for 3 years, 5 years. How do you find information to keep going that long? And now, that I've been on here, I'm like, yeah, I can come up with another 2 years of info to give my followers. Not that big of a deal. And my second milestone is this one. I've now completed my 2 years of daily, that's right, you heard me, daily coffee enemas. Now, there's a reason why I haven't done the video on coffee enemas for a long time. And I'm just going to read you a little note. And it says, I must say that coffee enemas intrigue me. Not the enemas themselves. The idea that there are people who believe that squirting a pot of coffee up their butt is a good idea. One wonders if this stems from sexual frustration, coprophobia, which is an abnormal and persistent fear of feces, and or simply bat crap craziness. Okay, so people who write this kind of stuff and some of the comments that I will be getting underneath this video, which I will be deleting, are just people who, this is the epitome of ignorance. I cannot begin to tell you, coffee is so, I can't express. It saved my life. If it were not for coffee, I know for a fact that I would not be here today. I wouldn't. I don't tell a lot of people this, but, besides my kidney issues, and I don't like to tell people everything that I was diagnosed with, because I have people out there who are doubters and they're like, there's no way that you could have had all this, or this woman has so much stuff. But you know what? Every day I deal with people who have as many things wrong with them as I did, if not more. Their list is bigger and bigger and bigger. And one of the things that I had was a huge black blotch, kind of on my lower back, and way lower back. And they wanted to biopsy it because they said it was melanoma. And I was like, no, you're not touching it. I'm sorry. And I walked away. I walked away from a lot of things, and I had a huge one, a black one on my nose, which they also wanted to take a look at. But I'm happy to say that after doing coffee enemas for like 7 months, this one is now pink, and the one on my back is now pink too. So I don't need to have it checked out or anything like that. So let's get right into this. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole procedure and how to make it and everything else, because believe me, just Google coffee enemas procedure or coffee enemas how to, or just coffee enemas, and you're going to get 10,000 YouTube videos of everyone who has decided to make a YouTube video on coffee enemas because they believe they're great. So I'm going to go a different route today. I'm going to tell you and share with you what it did for me, how it worked for me, and how it can benefit you today. Okay, so the first thing is migraines. Coffee enemas were basically invented for migraines. And my migraines were so excruciating that I would get up in the morning and I would put cold packs on the top of my head and on the back of my skull, because it felt like my head was cracking open. I mean, there was more, I'd wake up and I was like, I couldn't even open my eyes. I was like, I would have to cover them and stay in darkness because the pain was just so severe. And I would wake up and it's like, somebody's got to take me to the hospital. somebody's got to take me to the hospital because I just can't, I can't bear this. It was just so horrible. And there is not a single migraine or headache that I have had since I've started these that have not gone away within 15 minutes after doing an enema. And I realized that the reason for that is because the reason that you're getting those migraines is not those pinched nerves in your neck. And I mean, it might, okay, there's a small percentage of that. But I'm going to go out there on a limb and say that at least 98% of migraines and headaches are caused by toxins in the liver. Your liver is so toxic, it cannot process those toxins anymore. And then you get the horrible migraines, you get the horrible headaches that, you know, they're behind your eyes and at the base of your skull. I mean, that's toxins, pure and simple toxins in your body. Okay, number 2, the second thing that it helped me with was my pancreatitis. Man, when I started getting those pancreatitis attacks, I would head straight for my bathroom because what does it do? It detoxifies your liver. So it detoxifies the liver, and in detoxifying the liver, it goes through those bile ducts and it detoxifies your pancreas. So I would be laying there and I would do these enemas and I could hear my pancreas literally burping. I mean, it sounded like a frog. It was like, raw, and it would burp, and instantly I would get instant relief from the attack that I was having. So not only is this cleaning your liver and taking all these toxins out of your liver, which I'll get to in a moment, but it also helps with the pancreas and the spleen. Okay, so it's going to help all those. So all of you out there watching this video, sitting there going, I have this really weird little pain underneath my left rib, which kind of radiates into my back. Coffee enemas, trust me. Okay, so the next thing is cholesterol. Cholesterol, when you're eating too many bad fats, you're not eating enough healthy fats, your liver will actually start producing its own cholesterol. Not only that, but you know all that greasy fat, all that Kentucky Fried Chicken you've eaten, all that fried oils that you've had. You know what happens to that pan when you leave it on the counter and they tell you do not put that grease down your drain because it's going to clog your drain? It does the same thing in your body. It goes into the gallbladder, it goes into the liver, and all that fat just sits in there coagulated. And that fat binds with liver bile, and the next thing you have is these chunks of yellow, which when you do when you do the coffee enemas, you're going to notice all these chunks coming out, these huge yellow chunks, which which are nothing but processed fat and coagulated bile that hasn't been moving in your liver. I actually have a video on YouTube on gallbladder, and there's a strainer and it's full of all that coagulated fat. And I've actually had people give me a thumbs down. I'm like, that's really my bile. That's really my fat that went through there. You know, so it's great if you have high cholesterol. They say that on a matter of like 30 days, you can actually lower your cholesterol significantly by doing coffee enemas because it starts breaking up all that cholesterol in your liver. It starts breaking up all that nasty old coagulated bile and all that old fat. So it starts taking it out. So your liver can actually work better. Your kidneys. There's not a single person that I've spoken to that has kidney disease that did not benefit from coffee enemas. And I'll explain why. There's a lot of you out there that I love to juice. I'm going to do juicing and I'm going to do smoothies and I'm going to detox. So you're taking in these smoothies and you're taking in these juices and you're detoxing. Where do you think all those toxins are going? To your liver. So yes, you're putting all the good stuff in, you're doing all the right stuff, but you're not cleaning those filters. You have to get that coffee enema in there to clean out all those toxins. Because let me tell you, I know some of you have been detoxing and you get those horrible migraines and horrible detoxification symptoms where you're laying in bed and you feel like you're dying and you feel like you have the flu. You don't have to suffer with that. Go into your bathroom, do a coffee enema, get rid of them like that. You know, it speeds up the detoxification process tremendously. And I know there's some of you that sit there, yeah, but coffee's acid and coffee's this and coffee's that. Coffee is different when it's taken rectally through the portal vein than it is when you drink it. It does not have the same effect. For some people, it does cause, you know, hyperactivity because of the caffeine. But what you do is you want to take it early on into the day. Like, I won't do a coffee enema unless it's absolute emergency after 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I try to do it in the morning. That way I go to sleep right away. It helps your kidneys. It helps your adrenals. So as you're trying to clean up that kidney disease that you got going on, the coffee enema will actually get in there and take all those toxins out and assist your kidneys so that your kidneys can breathe and can actually get the job done that it needs to get done. Another thing is inflammation. You know, during World War II, coffee enemas were used when the soldiers, they ran out of the pain medication for these soldiers. And these soldiers were having a lot of pain. And what they would do is they would use coffee enemas because it brings down the pain. It takes down the inflammation. So it's great if you have chronic fatigue. It's great if you have fibromyalgia. And it's great if you have lupus. How do I know that? Go back to my video, the 1 hour post-op surgery, and you can see the little butterfly coming in on my cheeks. I've been hot. I refuse to let anybody, I refuse to tell anybody I've ever had that because I don't even want to admit it to myself that I abused my body to the point where, you know, you end up with such horrible diseases that, but if you go back and you see that, you'll, from taking all the chemicals that the dentist gave me, you can actually see the 2 little butterfly wings coming up on my cheeks. You know, and that's the last time I actually had an outbreak, which was a year ago. So I haven't had any more. These coffee enemas, I'm telling you, they have been my savior. I just cannot speak enough good stuff about them. Diabetes. I noticed that I take my diabetic numbers still today. I take them every day as soon as I wake up. And if I did a coffee enema the day before, my diabetic numbers were always good. But if I lapsed and I didn't do them, like, you know, there was just like one day I just couldn't do it. I would end up with my numbers being higher because it cleans out your pancreas. So if you're trying to lower your diabetic numbers, I'm living proof, and I can tell you that coffee enemas will help to lower those diabetic glucose insulin numbers. Facial lines and wrinkles. You guys can go back to my first video and you're going to notice I used to have tons of really deep lines on my forehead. And I used to have a lot of crow's feet. Well, coffee enemas, I don't know what they do, but somehow I don't know if it's the glutathione that gets in there, and it will actually, you can do coffee enemas 3-4 days, and I guarantee you're going to see an old friend and they're going to go, what are you doing to your face? You know, wow, your face is starting to look cleaner. It's starting to look, there's a lot of gurus and, you know, people on YouTube that do coffee enemas, but they won't tell you that. And you're sitting there watching their faces get cleaner, and they're telling you, oh, it's from the juicing. Oh, it's from the smoothies. Oh, it's from the great food. Oh, yeah. There's some coffee enemas going on in there, because I don't care what kind of food you eat, what kind of smoothies you drink, what kind of juicing you do, it is not going to polish your face as good as coffee enemas will. There's a certain look that you get where it's just so clean and so polished that nothing else will give you that. Liver spots. I had huge liver spots. Excuse me. I had huge liver spots on my cheek, and I had them on my hands. And if you notice, I have absolutely zero liver spots on the top of my hands. I have people that are in my same age group I go hang out with, and they are loaded with liver spots, or on their neck. They're loaded with liver spots on their neck or on their chest or on their face, whatever. This coffee enemas, because it's cleaning the liver, will take those liver spots away. Not instantly, but over the course of, like I said, 2 years, mine have definitely gone away. Heavy metals. I have people, and I now tell people when I have consultations with them, if you're going to do coffee enemas, you're going to smell the metals. When I first started doing the coffee enemas, I think like 2 weeks in, I remember I had just finished doing one, and all I could smell was pennies in my bathroom. It smelled like it smelled like horrible. It was like, it smells like pennies. I feel like I'm in a penny vault. It was from the copper that was coming out of my body. It will literally pull the toxins, those heavy metals, out of your colon and your liver, which have been sitting there forever and ever. And sometimes you'll smell nickel. I've also smelled perm solution. Used to be a hairdresser. I can smell the perm solution, the acid from the perm solution. I'm like, it smells like perm solution in here. Because really all you should be smelling is coffee. Because you're putting coffee in, you should be smelling coffee out. And that's 80% of the time, that's what you smell. But then all of a sudden you'll catch those smells and you're like, oh, there's perm solution. Oh, there's hair coloring. I can smell the hair color. You put it on your head, goes through your pores, sits in your liver. So if you've been doing that, that's also great to detox all those old, hair dyes and perms and straighteners and everything else that you put in your hair. Depression. When somebody calls me and says, I'm suicidal, I have depression, instantly, where can I send you some coffee? Literally, like 3 coffee enemas in, your depression you'll feel happier. I don't know what it is. There's something in that coffee. Depression like that. And after all my research and stuff, I've realized that anger and depression come from the liver. So it just makes sense that if you clean out the liver, you're going to get rid of the depression. And believe me, my depression left me like that as soon as I started doing the coffee enemas. It will improve peristalsis. I always want to say peristalsis. And what that is when you have to go to the bathroom, your colon literally does this. It just starts squeezing and it starts pressing so that it'll move everything down. There's little villi in there. But what happens is when we've eaten crappy for so long, or you've abused alcohol, or you've abused drugs, what happens is all those little villi start to shut down. Your whole system starts to slow down. So nothing is working anymore. That motion is not working anymore. Those villi are not working anymore. So what coffee enema does is it wakes all that stuff up, and it makes all those villi stand back up, and it makes that motion start going again. Like I said, it's not going to happen in 1 or 2 times. You want to do it over and over. And melanoma. Like I said, I had that huge blotch, gone. Pink, beautiful pink now. So, it's going to help that. Coffee helps the, and I'm trying to say, I'm working really hard on not saying, but man, but I want to thank all the people that brought it to my attention, because one of the first things is admitting that you do it, right? So it kind of stops you. So coffee produces glutathione, which is a master detoxifier in the body. It's a powerful enzyme that binds with toxins throughout the body and flushes them out during the enema process. So I have people that sit there and go, Marie, I'm doing it, but nothing's really coming out. Trust me, there's something coming out. You may not see it because there's no feces involved, but the toxins are being pulled out of your liver. Now, some of you are going to ask me, is this safe? Is this really safe? Yes, it does you're not doing high enemas. You're not going really deep into your colon. So you're not messing with all those great little bugs that you need in your system. You're staying very low in the colon. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay, number two, they've done studies, have studied this to death. I mean, coffee enemas have been around since the 1950s, maybe even earlier than that. And they have done studies upon studies upon studies proving that it does not interfere with you going regularly. So if you have problems going daily, which you should be going once or twice daily, the coffee will actually help you to go. I didn't used to go daily. It used to take me 3-4 days to go to the bathroom. I used to go every 3 or 4 days. I thought that was normal. So you keep using the coffee, and I kept using, and I would wake up and I would wait to have a bowel movement. Nothing. So I do my coffee. Next day, I'd wake up. I'd have a little bit of a bowel movement. Okay, and then I do my coffee. So what you want to do is you just want to keep doing the coffee and doing the coffee and doing it till you finally get a bowel movement, a regular daily bowel movement, which I have now. And then you want to do your coffee after you have that regular bowel movement. Now you can do this up to 10 years, daily, up to 10 years, and it will not interfere with that daily bowel movement. They've proved that people, now after you've done enemas for 15 years, yeah, you're no longer able to have your own bowel movement, because your body has become completely accustomed to that, and that's what it needs. But they've searched into 10 years. Now that's daily. So what a lot of people do is they get on that Gerson protocol, and they do it for 2 years, daily, every day for 2 years, because that's what cleans out your liver, that's what cleans out your colon, that's what cleans out your kidneys. Then after 2 years, you do them about once a week. So now I've graduated. I can now do them once a week or twice a week if I want to for the rest of my life, because I love my coffee. I mean, I just love it. And I don't know how much more I can tell you about how wonderful coffee is. Now, there's a lot of videos on YouTube, and what they do is they show you how to boil the coffee and strain the cup. This was too much for me. I found out that I could get the same benefits by doing it a little quicker. So what I ended up doing was I bought myself a 4-cup coffee maker, and I bought the natural filters, because usually filters have a lot of toxins in them. And then I do 4 cups. I fill up the 4-cup coffee maker with 4 tablespoons, of coffee. Once that's done, I take that 4 cups of processed coffee, and I put it into my enema bucket. Okay, so I'm going to take my 4 cups of processed coffee, which equals 16 ounces of processed coffee. I'm going to take my 16 ounces of processed coffee, and I'm going to put it in my my enema bucket. And then I'm going to take 16 ounces of room temperature distilled water, and I'm going to take 16 ounces of cold refrigerator distilled water, and I'm going to end up with 1,500 milliliters. Or you're going to end up with 48 ounces of water. And then at that point, I just come to the bathroom and I do my thing. Now, there's different ways that you can do this. You can do it with an enema bucket. I've actually hung my towels on a rack so that I can actually hang my bucket 30 inches above my head. So then I buy plastic see-through tubing, and you have a clamp. I can't stress enough that before you do anything, clamp it down. I can't tell you how many times I've had coffee all over my floor because I have not clamped this down. When you receive when you receive any of your enema kits, you're going to have a few options as far as tips go. Now, of course, everyone's going to sit there and go, I want to go for the little one because that's going to hurt less. Not so. Let me tell you, this one is completely flat. Some people just use this. They don't even put a tip on it. But when you use this flat, it has a tendency to cut you. And what ends up happening is if you end up getting cut, well, you just put yourself 2 or 3 days behind because you can't do enemas after you've cut yourself because bacteria can set in. So this is not always the best choice. And this is not always the best choice. To me, in my personal opinion, this is the best choice because it's nice and it's rounded and it's easy to put on the tip. And what you want to do is you want to make sure and you always lube that tip so that you don't end up causing any harm to yourself or cutting yourself again. So make sure, some people will say use Vaseline. Don't ever use Vaseline on this. You want to use coconut oil. I have a little tub of coconut oil that I keep in the bathroom and I only use for this. Or sesame seed oil is also okay to use, but I would not use anything besides those two. You want to lube it, but you don't want to lube it too much because if you lube it too much, it's just going to fall right out. It's too lubed. So you want to lube it just enough where, you know, you can get it in. Now, I'm the type of person that I think this is a healing. Okay, this is my healing. So I'm not just going to shove it in, go, and, you know, let's get this over with. Once I insert my tip, I sit there and I relax for like 3 minutes. I just take my time, close my eyes, and relax my body to allow it to accept this healing. Now, if you don't have the means or the money for a bucket, you can always go with an enema bag, which is just as fine. You can pick these up at Walgreens. You can pick them up pretty much, I think, anywhere. They're called douche bags or they're called hot water bottles is basically what they call them. And you can pretty much pick them up anywhere. We sell them on the website because there is nothing that has not healed me that I do not sell on my website. If it healed me, I'm going to bring it to you. And we actually sell the kits with the coffee and everything already in them. So you can get these, you know, they're easy to hang. And they also come with the clear and they come with all the tips and everything else. So that's another option that you have. They also sell like one-time little plastic ones that look like those IV ones that you get at the hospital. You can actually get those and, you know, you can use those. There's so many options. One of my biggest suggestions before you ever perform a coffee enema, if you've never done them before, ever, if you've never performed an enema before, try using water the first and second time. Just warm distilled water. Because you want to get used to the feeling of how it goes in, how you're going to hold it, what it does. You know, you want to get used to all that. I have a granddaughter who sits in the car and she says, Grandma, I need to go to the bathroom. And I go, really? I go, do you need to go pee or do you need to go poo? And she goes, I don't know. I go, what do you mean you don't know? I don't know. I have this really weird gurgling feeling, but I don't know. And I'm like, you're kidding me, right? Well, can you hold it a few minutes till we get to a bathroom or do you need to go right now? I don't know. And I sit there and think to myself, how can you not know your body like that? I mean, you should know your body. But there's people that I meet, they're in their 40s and 50s and they don't know their body. The minute you start doing enemas, you're going to know your body. You're going to sit there and go, I got that little weird feeling. That's my pancreas. It needs to be cleaned. Oh, hey, my liver feels kind of weird. I think I need, you are going to start really becoming one with your body. And that is one of my favorite things about doing enemas. So you need to do like 1 or 2 just water ones to try to get used to it. So you don't waste the coffee, you know, straight out of the chute. So you do those and you can get the feeling of what it's like to hold it, you know, the pressure, all that. And that way, by the 3rd one, go right into your coffee. You definitely, like I said, you always want to make sure you close that clamp. That clamp. I have wasted so much coffee on my kitchen floor from not shutting that clamp. So that is really important. If your liver is extremely toxic, I mean, very, very, very toxic, I'm going to give you a little warning here. The chances are that I used to keep this when I used to expel my enemas. Why? Because 9 out of 10 times I'd be throwing up. When you have so many toxins in your liver, when you are just so toxic that it is just horrible, there's a good chance that when you're expelling that all those toxins and it's going through your lower colon, you're going to feel like vomiting. I know I'm not painting a pretty picture, but I'm trying to be as honest with you and prepare you for what's going to happen. So just keep that in mind. And you know, you want to try to make this as relaxing an experience as you can. As you've seen in my cover picture, I usually have a blanket down. I have my pillow down. I also buy these puppy pads. I feel they're cheaper than the ones for the adults. But these are little puppy pads. And what I do is I throw it on my floor underneath my butt, because if you have an accident or you're not able to hold them, these are going to be your lifesaver. So you don't get coffee all over your floor and all over your bathroom and everything else. So I hope I have explained this to you. Oh, I know one question that I always get from everybody. Does it have to be decaffeinated coffee? No. It has to be caffeinated, and it has to be organic. Remember, coffee is one of the crops that they spray the most with pesticides. You don't want that going into your liver. So when you're done with this video, feel free to Google coffee enemas and learn more about them, what they do for you, how to perform them, how to mix them. I've just kind of headed you that direction and opened the door for some of you who have never heard of coffee enemas or what they do for your body. Because I'm telling you guys, I would not be in front of this camera today after 2 years without having incorporated coffie enemas into my life. One last thing before I close this video. I know it's getting long, but like I said, I could do a short one on this one. I just love my coffee. One thing that I want you to remember is that it's not just toxins, it's not just old bile, and it's not just fat that sit in your liver. If you've been eating a lot of animal protein, if you've eaten a lot of animals, beef, chicken, whatever, all these animals experience frustration, anger, fear before they get killed. And that sits in their DNA. When you eat that meat, that is sitting also in your liver. When you get angry at a human being, that sits in your liver. Anger sits in your liver. Frustration sits in your liver. All that will sit in your liver. So as you're detoxifying with coffee enemas, you're sometimes right after the coffee enema, you're going to get rages of anger, or you're going to cry and cry and cry uncontrollably for no reason. All those old emotions, all that fear, all that anger is also going to start detoxifying out with the coffee enemas. So I want you to be prepared for that. And, you know, and have someone in place that you can talk to about all these feelings that come up, all this stuff, because you're really going to be digging at the bottom of that cesspool, and you're going to be bringing all that stuff up, because coffee enemas not only detoxify your mind, it also detoxifies your body, and it detoxifies your soul. I mean, it is just one of the best things that I can share with you. It It does not get any better than coffee enemas. So anyone who tells you that they're not healthy and they're not good and they'll do you harm and you're crazy for doing it, that's just ignorance. They have not experienced all the wonderful things that it can produce for you. Okay, so till next time, I hope you guys are happy, have been staying happy, have been getting healthier, and next time you'll have tried a coffee enema, at least have given it a try, a fair chance. Do them for a month, give it 30 days, and see how much better you feel, how much less inflammation you have going in your body, how much more clarity of mind you receive from taking coffee in through your portal vein instead of taking it orally. Till next time, love one another and respect one another. Bye-bye.